Well, ladies and gentlemen, just when you thought that peace was on the way, this current administration that has less than 60 days left has just pulled a crazy move on this Russia-Ukraine war, and we have big stuff coming out from even Vladimir Putin. We're going to play that on his reaction to all of this. Um, you know, it's unfortunate that yesterday we were making a video celebrating the fact that Vladimir Zelensky was speaking of the fact that maybe this is all coming to an end, but this is the breaking news right now. So the breaking news, according to Fox News and according to Politico and other safeguard sources, Biden authorizes Ukraine to use U.S. long-range missiles to strike inside of Russia. Now, earlier today, if you go to Russia, this thing is beginning to take a turn, not for the better, right before Trump goes into office. So there you have it right here. This is CNN reporting that Biden authorizes Ukraine to use long-range U.S. weapons in Russia. And of course, Biden, here you go, Biden to allow Ukraine to use longer range missiles. So what the hell is going on? What the hell is happening? Joe Biden has authorized to use a powerful American long-range missile weapon for limited strikes inside Russia. The regime claimed it's in response to North Korea's deployment of thousands of soldiers. This comes at a time where Vladimir Zelensky says he would like to end the war with Russia next year. The regime is trying to escalate the war because they know Trump is about to end it. So what the hell are these people doing before Trump gets into office? What are they trying to do? Trump obviously wants peace. We all obviously want peace, but what the hell is this administration doing? Take a listen.
Our next guest, who just returned from Ukraine, says the people there feel differently. Brett Velikovich is a Fox News contributor and a former special operations intel analyst. He knows a lot about drones, and he joins us today from somewhere in Europe. Good afternoon to you, Brett.
Hey, good afternoon. First, let me say big congrats to Pete Hegseth from your show. If I had known all these years I was being interviewed by and briefing the Secretary of Defense, I might have buttoned up a little bit. So honestly, though, it speaks, I think, to the credibility of your show, your staff, and trusted news you guys bring Americans every single day who really trust you. And so much that your own was chosen to run one of our nation's top positions. So very well deserved.
Indeed. And if Pete were sitting on the couch, as he has for hundreds of hours, he'd say, thank you very much. Let's start at the beginning. There is some conventional wisdom on the political left. The Ukrainians hate Donald Trump. You were just there. You're there all the time. Tell us the truth.
It's just not true what they're saying. I mean, frankly, it is getting worse on the ground. I just left, and it's the worst I've ever seen it there. But wanting the war to end soon does not mean not supporting Ukraine. People don't seem to remember that Trump provided lethal aid to Ukraine during his first term. He didn't appease Russia during the first term. He's just simply stating he wants the war to be over. And a lot of people want the war to be over. Ukrainians are very resilient.
So
they're fighters.
Who doesn't want this war to be over? President Biden approves Ukraine's military to use U.S.-provided long-range missiles on targets inside of Russian territory. So who are the people behind this war not ending? Biden's announcement just came hours after Russia concluded one of its largest missile and drone attacks in months, launching over 200 targeting Ukraine's power and energy infrastructure. So they're going at it over there. Putin has previously said that giving Ukraine the green light on missile use would effectively mean that the U.S. and NATO are in the war. So here is Vladimir Putin.
In the updated version of the document, aggression against Russia by any non-nuclear state, but with the support of a nuclear state, is proposed to be considered as their joint attack on Russia. Russia will also consider the possibility of using nuclear weapons when receiving reliable information about a massive launch of means of aerospace attack and their crossing of our state border. This includes strategic and tactical aircraft, as well as cruise missiles and drones, hypersonic and other delivery vehicles. Russia reserves the right to use nuclear weapons in case of aggression, including if the enemy using conventional weapons poses a critical threat.
It is important to note at this point that these are at this time proposals to amend Russia's nuclear weapons use doctrine. We heard from Vladimir Putin multiple scenarios in which the rules and regulations governing how Russia can use its nuclear weapons will change. The first scenario is if a non-nuclear power attacks Russia with conventional arms but poses a grave or critical threat to Russia's sovereignty, the Russian leadership will be able to use nuclear weapons to neutralize that threat. The second scenario.
So basically, Russia now has the green light, or Vladimir Putin now is about to start using nuclear weapons because of what the United States just approved of. So there you have it right here. Charlie Kirk says Biden is trying to start World War III. This is a pathological and totally insane. This is pathological and totally insane. U.S. weaponry should not be used to fire into the interior of Russia. Imagine if Russia supplied missiles to fire into America. So, ladies and gentlemen, I told you guys it is, we're talking about January 20th, January 21st, when Trump actually takes office. It's a long time from now, and things are about to, it seems like things are not going in the right direction. And this is not good. I mean, just listen to what the things that can possibly start to take place before Trump even takes office.
And how things will change is if that non-nuclear power that is attacking Russia is aided, supplied, abetted by a nuclear power, then that nuclear power will be considered a party to this conflict. So a joint attack on Russia, which will mean Russia will be able to use nuclear weapons both on the non-nuclear power and the nuclear power that it'll consider attacking it. Also, Russia will be able to use, preemptively perhaps use nuclear weapons if there is verified information, proof that there is an ongoing attack on Russia using aerospace assets, or, for example, a mass launch of drones. Again, I must mention that these are...
So there you have it. Once again, Putin has previously said that giving Ukraine the green light on missile use would effectively mean that the U.S. and NATO are now in the war. Fight assignments for these missiles systems can, in fact, only be entered by military personnel from NATO countries. Ukrainian servicemen cannot do this, and therefore it is not a question of allowing the Ukrainian regime to strike Russia with these weapons or not. It is a question of making a decision whether NATO countries directly participate in the military conflict or not. Putin said this in September. So if this decision is made, Putin says, it will mean nothing less than the direct participation of NATO countries, the United States and the European countries, in the war in Ukraine, which means that now, of course, North Korea is involved, and the next thing you know, China's involved, and next thing you know, we are in full-blown war right before Trump even gets into office. Meanwhile, President-elect Donald Trump's transition team is expected to soon announce a peace envoy to assist in the negotiation between Ukraine and Russia. Trump argued on the campaign trail that he could solve the conflict before entering office. Trump has been rolling out appointee names of those he wants to fill his cabinet with, advising on top issues at lightning quick pace. So once again, this is just getting out of hand right before Trump takes office. What are the moves? And by the way, I just want you guys to see Joe Biden earlier today, right? So somebody said, who said this? Somebody said this. I think it was Andrew Tate. He said this because if I'm gonna show you this video of Joe Biden today, but I think what he said here is actually pretty. So look, he says, why are people pretending that Biden authorized strikes into Russian territory? Biden hasn't gotten a clue what's going on. The Matrix did. War allows them to retain control. Its final act of desperation before the cleansing fire. Pray they fail. So, yeah, I mean, if you look at Joe Biden today, what the hell is even happening in politics? Where was he going? Jurassic Park? Where was this guy going? Jurassic Park? Here's a clip of Donald Trump and Vladimir Zelensky during their meeting. Obviously, Trump, I wish he was in office right now.
Another meeting in the near future between you.
Could very well happen, but I think the president said it the best. This is a war that should have never happened. It should have never happened, and it wouldn't have happened. It's a shame, but this is a war that should have never happened, and we'll get it solved. It's a complicated puzzle, very complicated puzzle, but we'll get it solved, and people get on with their lives. Too many people dead, too many beautiful cities. I've seen those cities are so beautiful, and that, I don't know how you can ever rebuild them the way they were. It's not possible.
You have to come, by the way, to see us.
I will. It's a beautiful country, beautiful weather, beautiful everything. But we have to get this over with. Yeah. But it's a war, and the president agrees. This is a war that should have never happened. Okay.
So there you have it. It's a war. Trump says it should have never happened, but now you have things like this now developing. Right, NBC News is reporting the same thing everybody else is reporting. Biden authorized strikes into Russia with U.S. supplied long-range missiles, which was exactly what Putin has said not to do. And if you do that, he will take it as an act of war from NATO countries. And this is the number one thing trending right now all around the world, man. Biden authorizes Ukraine to use U.S. long-range missiles. Let me see something real quick. Scott Ritter. Let me see if we can find him real quick. I know he just wrote something big about this. Okay, so he says the administration just gave Ukraine the green light to use U.S.-made and provided ATACMS missiles against Russian targets inside of Russian territory, including Kursk. It should be noted that the U.S., together with NATO, helped plan and execute the Ukrainian incursion into Kursk. Now, with Ukrainian forces being pushed back into Kursk region by Russian forces, the decision to allow Ukraine to use these missiles in Kursk leaves no doubt that the U.S. is a direct party to the invasion and occupation of Russian soil by NATO proxy Ukrainian forces. In short, the U.S. is now at war with Russia. This is the position that is taken by the Russians back on September 13th, when the Russian government warned the Biden administration about allowing Ukraine to use these missiles against Russian soil, in Russian soil. The decision by the Biden administration reflects a growing sense of desperation on the part of Ukraine, NATO, and the U.S. that the war with Russia is reaching the breaking point, where a decisive Russian victory is but guaranteed. So the Ukraine, NATO, U.S. axis is likewise concerned about the election results in the United States of America, which saw Donald Trump win decisively on a platform that seeks to end the war in Ukraine and avoid escalation with Russia. The Biden administration seems to have taken this decision based upon two specific analytical assumptions. First, that Russia is bluffing, which we know. I don't think they're bluffing, ladies and gentlemen, and that they will not seek to escalate. Second, that this escalation on the part of Ukraine, NATO, U.S., United States axis will trap the incoming Trump administration into staying the course when it comes to supporting both NATO and Ukraine. The Biden administration has likely baldly miscalculated Russia. They will not accept this escalation by doing nothing. Russia's response will be decisive and possibly include hitting targets outside of Ukraine. Moreover, Trump does not want a war with Russia, inherited or otherwise. Rather, the accepting this escalation as its fate accomplished, Team Trump will likely inform both NATO and Ukraine to detrimental consequences of escalation once Trump takes office on January 20th. This last point is the utmost important. If Trump can separate himself from the Biden decision to escalate, Russia may temper its response, avoiding the kind of revolving escalation that would probably lead to nuclear war. It would be an unprecedented action on that part of Trump, direct interference in the policies of a sitting lame duck president, as we know, but the survival of America and the world is at stake right now. Let's hope that Trump stays true to his promises and moves to prevent this war. So that's by Scott Ritter, who has worked in all of this. Scott Ritter has a lot of experience with war. He's somebody that's also being watched for his opinion on all these wars. So thank you for your subscription. Thank you. So yeah, this is something that once again we got to watch. I mean, we have like the government coming out and saying that aliens are in the water, right? We have so many things happening. My head is all over the place, if I'm being honest, as to what I've been reading. But this escalation is just not good. Specifically right before, Trump takes office on January 20th. What it seems that they're trying to do is they're trying to have Trump inherit this, where he has no choice but to stay in this war and just invest in this because, there is probably not going to be a peace deal in the making. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully Trump is able to keep his promises because that's who he is. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we got going on right now in the United States of America. Our involvement, we got missiles. We got people doing the Trump dance. We got so many things to talk about. So yeah, actually, let me see something real quick. Let me see. What is this? All right, we'll figure it out. All right, we got a lot of things breaking out. Ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to give you guys an update on this. Make sure to smash the like button right now if you guys can. Smash the like button, and I will see you guys on the next one.